is. Actually, in the modern day, support can make plays. You can go out on the map and make that like flank that you would have when you roamed as a fucking mid laner, and you can get some shit off and actually catch someone out, etc. So your instincts are still going to work. So I'm going to go into now my ugly point, which is something I sent Peter, which is, you know what? There's not that many people, Peter, in general. It's just I'm a content creator. I don't have that much time to watch other people's shit. I have to bring people on shows to talk to them. But one people I do religiously hate watch is good old Nemesis. Good old Mr. Like, well, now that I'm not in the LEC, everyone's shit and I'd be second best. No, yeah. Tell me another story, mate. Yeah, and you know what? If my uncle had balls, it'd be my aunt, wouldn't it, you fucking idiot? He always has these takes where it's like, the problem is, if he was Chovy, these takes are straight fire. Because he's Nemesis, it's like, you're in the Bwippo camp, mate. It's like you're giving the craziest takes about everyone else, but then you're just positioned like the uber genius god tier player. It's like, but you aren't that player. So he had a take, Nightshare, where his take basically was that like all these, it's actually a take I've said, but the difference is he did it even harsher than I do. His take is like people are just gambling on too many rookies. And basically you can tell, look, there's an obvious reason why he would be biased in this sense, because someone's taking rookies instead of someone like him or some of the people at Crowley, etc. Like there's an obvious reason why he could have a bias too. But he genuinely seemed to think that like most rookies basically aren't going to be good and that they're sort of just gambling too much, which listen, is a take I've had before, but he went really hard with it. Like he almost made it sound like we should go back to the days we just signed the big name. He just keep doubling down on, like, you know, I mean, the saying in English, the idiom is a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, because obviously you might not be able to get both of them from the bush, so you're giving up the one that's in you. You just keep what you've got basically. And so this is a take he had, and I obviously know this is like right, it's counter to everything Peter believes in basically. So spoiler, I set this up as the last one of the show. But Nightshare, what do you think about this? It's the idea that like in LEC people just constantly gamble on a million rookies. What do you think?
Well, I have it's interesting take. I have completely different like opinion on this, or how I was usually handling it is when you come to the team, you have to understand what are the pieces that you want to keep, and then you have to understand what pieces you're missing in the team, and what sort of like, not just game-wise, player-wise, review-wise, even characteristic-wise and such, right? And I've never seen it in like gambling on rookies. For me, it was always just like, oh, I know I'm missing this person or this player with these characteristics. I will look everywhere. I don't mind if it's a rookie or not rookie. If he fits my profile that I want, and I believe that will fit or benefit the team the most, I will take it. So I've never like distinguished in between rookies and veterans in this regard. But I have to say, it's like from coach perspective, it's sometimes way easier to work with rookies because you can shape them up in a way that you want. So, you know, for example, if you have someone, it's like maybe in this regards, in like the Nemesis stake is like, if you actually know veteran and he's like, you do your proper research and background check and everything, and you know his profile, then you kind of know what you'll get, right? You know he will be like this. And if it doesn't fit you entirely, you would rather take a rookie because you know that you can kind of change them or shape them up in a better way than the veteran. So in that case, I guess, you know, like I understand it. But I don't feel like I don't feel this way, that people gambled on too many rookies, you know. Maybe nowadays because the money is tight, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe because of that, but I've never felt it like it's just take rookies and then hope for the best, you know. I always felt like there is some at least thought process behind it.
I mean, I think the video basically in the clip. So I hadn't seen it, but Thorin linked me to it, and basically he was saying that people taking too much gamble on rookies, but also like Twitter analysts hyped rookies too much based on EMEA performances and things like this, and like a lot of the guys that look good,
which is a bit ironic too, but all good.
Yeah.
It is in hindsight.
I didn't want to just pop up like, yeah, it's weird when they overhype people from EMEA, isn't it? Keep going.
I mean, in fairness, you know, he should be like the Kanye West against the basketball players, you know, like or like the NBA player playing against the kids, right? You would expect them to dunk on them, and he did, right? Like, I mean, of course he did, right?
Okay.
Because, but but what I sorry, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, so gambling, right? So what I would say is I think in Vitality's case, I don't think it's gambling in the sense that they did really badly in summer last year, and I know Mac for sure, and I assume Pad as well, work with the Vitality Academy team when they were at EU Masters. So Mac has coached like a lot of those guys for like 2 months plus, right? So it's not like he's picking them up fresh. But I think also there's a difference in taking a gamble on somebody who's already within your system and who you already know about.
Yes.
Because
it's not a gamble, kind of, because...
Yeah, exactly. Like it's KC, right? Like the KC thing or the EG thing, right? Like those are promoted internally. And I think one thing that people are really careful to do is with veterans, you do like so much work when you're trying to hire a veteran on background checks, right? Like, and it doesn't mean it's not about like screening people who are toxic. Like sometimes you want people who are toxic in your team, right? It's just like how they channel the toxicity, but either people don't screen that enough on rookies, or they don't have enough like...
It's more of a like they don't have enough information, I
exactly
believe,
right.
.
Exactly. So I think you're gambling if you are somebody like well, I mean GTO Fnatic is different, but if you're somebody like I'm just looking, if you're something like Rogue, or I mean like Giant-X, okay, so Giant-X have an academy team, but they don't like spend super large amounts of money on their academy team, right? So like if you have an academy team and you use your academy team to develop your rookies and to train them in your system and to put them there, I don't think it's a gamble, right? Like I think BDS, but I think that there's only 4 teams in the league that actually spend money on their academy team. I mean, SK have an academy team, but I don't think they spend big money on it. It's like BDS, Heretics, KC, and Vitality are the 4 teams. Did I say Vitality twice? Yeah, okay, well, anyway. But essentially, there's 4 teams that spend big on their academy teams, and I don't think for those teams promoting rookies is a risk. But if you go and say to me, like, SK 2 years ago signed X-Kick and DOS, right? Like, for me, I get what Nemesis is saying in this situation, right? Which is that this guy was mega, mega hyped because he did really, really well in LFL on like a popular team. They're like, okay, we have to go and sign this AD carry who's really, really hyped, but we want him so much, we're going to give him like he can sign DOS if he wants, right? Like X-Kick basically said to them, like there were other teams that wanted X-Kick, but X-Kick said, I will join you if you sign DOS, and the other teams were like, we're not willing to take that. That's too much of a price. But SK were willing to say, okay, we'll do it, and that's how they managed to sign X-Kick, and it ended up not working. I don't think X-Kick was... I mean, by the end, it was a bit rough, but I felt like DOS was struggling a bit more than X-Kick. But maybe those are the kind of gambles. Like, how much are you willing to give up to go and get a rookie? How much control of a team are you willing to go and give to a rookie, right? Because I'm not saying rookies can't control a team. I'm saying they don't have the experience to do it. And, maybe your support that you played with in ERLs, and you two like stopped everyone in ERLs, and so you're like, oh, I've got to play with this guy no matter what when I go to LEC. That's where things start to get difficult. That's where things start to get risky. And I think the risk is a little bit in mechanics, but I think it's a lot more in personality. And Academy gives you the option to screen for it, but if you don't have an Academy team, or you don't have an if you are a team that you have an academy team literally just to sell shirts in your domestic league, what's the point, right? Like use it to take gambles and try out new players, right? Like that's what I would say. And I don't think it's a risk in that situation. Like I don't think Vitality are taking a risk, but I do think Giants are taking a risk. That's what I would say.
Yeah, my problem with this is I often do it from the position of defending like someone like a ground shot that I think definitely should be in LEC. Like he could be like the top 5 player in his position. Like he could be competing. So I do hate it when people like that are overlooked because 4 people decide to gamble on like an ADC or something like that. So my problem is this. I also need to know the context of the move though to judge it. Like for example, if the premise goes, this isn't even someone as a rookie that's like overly hyped and there's a bidding war for. So it's not like I have to pay like top money and he's a rookie and he might fail. fail. If I can get them really cheap, but then every now and then it is going to turn out to be somebody who ends up being like 4th best in his role, but I got him like for like 8th best money in the LEC. That's just a cost efficient move. Like that allows me to then free up money to keep my star player, or maybe then like I can get a coach. There's a whole bunch of things that like balance in the budget wise makes sense in that sense. So I'd have to know the situation. Well, another one of my big complaints is this one, Peter, which is it's also what role the rookie is going to play. And I don't mean like position in the game. I mean like role within the team. I do think, because what you're referencing, even though by the way it's actually apparently an apocryphal story, I know everything about Cardia, sadly, and that is apparently from like a satire website. Basically the story goes, if you don't know guys, people said something that like Kanye went and played like, you know, a charity game with like disabled kids in wheelchairs, but then because he's Kanye, he's just like donked on him and scored like 100 points or something. Which just, the reason why it's a genius satire piece is you could believe that was real. Like, you know, like that is just what he might do. You know, it's plausible.
I only saw the meme, but
you're not expected to. Don't worry about that. And I will say this. So that's actually a very good analogy, though, because I do think there are people who just look at ERLs and they see a player getting loads of kills or popping off and they go, wow, imagine if he did that in my LEC team. And it's like, but that is like that sometimes. Like you see this even from people like Kalist, by the way. I could see in that first split, there were certain champion picks Kalist did where he would have gotten away with that against all the bot lanes in the ERL. And he didn't realize, oh, mate, you might even be a top LEC player now, but you have to respect the other top players. Like they'll still get you if you have a bad matchup or you pick something that, like if you pick the thing where if they do the counter comp, you just don't get to play League of Legends, which happened once or twice, by the way. Like you have to learn the hard way. Like that Draven pick that's hilarious in the scrim, that's different when it's on stage, mate. Like when they do the anti-Draven comp and you can't ever fucking go forwards, it's a nightmare. You're just like, can I play League of Legends, please? And the answer is no, you can't. So that
happened international, no? He picked
absolutely,
it 1-2,
yes.
And then, yeah.
Which, and by the way, from how many times he's picked it, I can tell he must be shitting on everyone in scrims. That he's having those scrims where he goes 9 kills in like first 10 minutes, and he's like, "Lord, this is my secret pocket pick." And it's like it is in scrims, but it isn't at the highest level, mate. So I also need to know: am I picking someone up who's just like a decent player who can fill a gap for me, and literally what they do in the RL they can do for me, or am I picking up someone I stupidly think is the next Caps, but actually maybe they're not when they go to the top level and they play all the other good players? Because like that's an example of where I do think another area where GMs look stupid is when you have these dominant ERL teams where they're winning everything in the ERL, they're winning the EMEA Masters. And what happens is the other GMs correctly pick apart the good players from the team, and you just take the ones that are left, and you act like it's Voltron and all 5 pieces were the key, and you don't know they took the best player, and you took the one that he was making look good. And then you end up with just a mid-arse player in the fucking LEC, and now you could have had Jizuki or Crownshot or Leader or someone who actually might have done something in some of those games, you know, who could have won you some games. And instead, you blow the whole split, and then I grew Peter as well, and then you don't even commit to them. You just go, oh, what's that? Yeah, kick them out and get another guy. It's like that part I can come to more towards the Nemesis side on that one. That one is you're just gambling, because in this scenario, like gambling, when you lose, you just gamble again. You just buy another scratch ticket and go, hey, maybe this one wins.
I mean, the thing is, though, that people, maybe fans don't realize, is that rookies, now that there's so much agents in the scene, rookies are not that cheap anymore.
Right.
Like the cheapest people you can sign are actually Koreans. Number one, like veteran rookie Koreans, because once you're 20 in Korea, like you're super doomed, right? So like if you're 20, 21, you can get like really, really high quality Koreans, like reasonably cheap. And then it's like you know, people who were mid-tier veterans in the past, you know, like a Gen X or somebody, right? Like it's probably not that expensive. And then it's like
it's the rookies.
then it's the rookies, and then it's like the stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, no one realizes this. Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, why are you not taking rookies?" Or you know, like, "Why are you not taking European players?" Oh, yeah, because they're like 5 times more expensive, you know.
Yeah, or even 2 times more. You know, like it's but like legitimately 3 times more expensive. But so there's that, but also like it's the accountability thing, right? Like if you signed a rookie and you kick him within a year, you fucked up as a GM, or you fucked up as an org, right? And like this is something I think I've mentioned to you on one of your past shows, Thorin. But this is the thing with Jack Spectra and Flackid, right? Like Flackid was for sure a better player than Jack Spectra. He's a player I worked with in the past. You know, I like he was a better fit for what Heretics had. But the fact that Jack was a rookie and you're kicking him after 5 months is To me, it doesn't matter that he's a worse player. You've put the scouting in, and you've decided this is a player you want, so you give him a year, right? It doesn't matter, right? And then you take the brunt, because, and I think this is something as well, because we've talked a lot about team building this year. This is, I think, something that people don't take enough accountability for. If you've gone and signed a rookie, you've done your due diligence properly. You've done your scouting. You know the environment this rookie needs to work in. So if he plays badly, it's not his fuck up. It's your fuck
I mean,
up,
it's yes. I mean, to this point of like what Thorin said about gambling on rookies, from my perspective, from my experience, I almost never see it as a gamble if you do your job correctly, and it should not be a gamble. So that point is completely like blown off the table nowadays, because you have a data team that collects data on so many data from like even solo queue, even the scrims. He goes through like the first screening of the data team, then you do eye test, then you do background checks, then you do interviews. Like the process is very extensive, and it takes the whole of season usually. It's like when players are at Bahamas enjoying their Malibus or I don't know, right? Then coaches are working the whole off season, and then honestly, if you do your job correctly, there's no gamble.
I'll give you a little trick as well.
Be a gamble.
Since the theme of this episode has been asking other coaches who've worked with them for their like sort of their report on like how goes this guy, I'll give you a little secret key that'll change how you use that information, which is if someone like Peter is bigging up the player and he could have signed him but chose not to, treat that report differently than if you're a bigger org and he wishes he had the player but he's just giving him to you because he's actually so legit he will still give you the great review and stuff. But all I'll say is it's when like he chose not to, just ask yourself why he didn't. That's all I'm saying. It's just make that thought be in your head there. That's part of the due diligence. You also got to know who you're talking to. Now, I will end the show by just saying this. I can promise everyone watching the Best Damn League show, period, that next week there will provably be a different guest. See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.